2 days ago. The uncertainty in measurement. Every device that you have, every measuring device will have its own type of accuracy and precision, okay? So, here you have your graduated cylinder, you have your syringe, and you have your burette. This will vary, the volume here will be dependent on how you are seeing it. Okay, it's all dependent on you and where you place your meniscus and how the device itself is calibrated. All right. So here you have your pipette. Your pipette gives you a more specific value than your graduated cylinder or your syringe. And then you have your volumetric flask. Your volumetric flask, we won't be using a volumetric flask this semester, but it gives you a set volume based on where you have another line. Okay, you'll see it when you get to one of the labs. All right. So now, significant figures. Significant figures is a way for us to measure the numbers. The numbers that you have for your volume or whatever kind of measurement that you're doing, you have to look at significant figures. Which ones are most important? So you can have, for our density here, which do you think is the most important digit?
1.
The 1, because that contains the bulk of your substance. All right? Which one do you think is least significant? The last two. Okay? That, you can consider that like the extra crumbs. All right? So now, we have, when you're dealing with significant figures, you have zeros. Your zeros are what matters the most. Okay? You have all your non-zero numbers will always be significant. You will always count those. But your zeros, depending on where they are either significant or not significant. All right? We read numbers from left to right, always. If you're going from left to right, the zeros that come before your first non-zero numbers, those are called leading zeros. You have zeros in between two non-zero numbers, those are called buried zeros. Your zeros after a non-zero number, those are called trading zeros. All leading zeros are not significant. They will never be significant. All right? Buried zeros are always significant. Trading zeros are generally significant. There are some conditions that make the trading zeros significant or insignificant. All right?
That's only if it's after a decimal point.
Not after, but if there is a decimal point in there.
Yeah, Professor, the leading zeros after the decimal?
No. Remember, we read going from left to right. Don't matter what's in front there, we always read from left to right. If you're reading from left to right and then all you see is zeros at the beginning, don't worry about the decimal point. If you see zeros at the beginning, before you hit your first non-significant number, those are all leading zeros and they will not be significant. Okay, so a more clear picture. All non-zero digits are significant. If you have anything 1 or above, 1 to 9, those are always significant. Zeros between two significants, buried zeros, they are all significant. Zeros at the beginning of a number, leading zeros, never significant. Zeros at the end of your number are only significant if you have a decimal point in there, in your entire number. Be it at the front, be it at the back. Okay?
So, in your last example, the trailing zeros are significant.
They are significant. Okay? Now, when we're doing different types of arithmetic, okay? Adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, we have rules for determining what our answer will be in. Alright? So addition and subtraction. When you're adding or subtracting, you're gonna have 2, maybe 3 numbers. What matters, your answer will be determined by the spaces to the right of your decimal point. You're going to look for the number that has the least amount of spaces to the right of the decimal point, and that's how many spaces to the right of your decimal point your answer has to be in. Do we get that?
Is there an example? 'Cause I don't.
Yeah.
Of course, we got an example. Right? Well, we're going to ignore this part right here. Ignore that part for now. Alright? So here, how many spaces to the right of the decimal point do you have?
3.
3. Over here, 1. So according to this rule, your answer needs to be, has to have 1 space be to the right of the decimal point. Alright?
The bigger number is 1? Wait,
Mhm.
why is it 1?
Okay. Remember, here's the rule. When you're adding or subtracting,
Okay.
you're going to look at your numbers. You're going to look at the spaces to the right of the decimal point. Whichever number has the least amount of spaces to the right of the decimal point, that is how many spaces your answer needs to be in.
Okay, so if it was 5 over this side and 3 over this side, we have to have 3.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Right? So here you have 3 spaces behind the decimal point. Here you have 1 space behind the decimal point. So therefore your answer needs to have 1 space behind the decimal point.
Okay.
Right? So now when we add up these two, we have 10.825. You are now going to figure out where you're going to draw your line. Where is the cutoff point? Where's the cutoff point? 8. In front of 8, behind 8.
Behind.
There you go. So now we have to determine what's going to happen here. Yes.
And you never round, you just truncate.
That depends. Okay.
Alright.
So the next thing you're going to do, we're going to look at the neighbor. Not the next door neighbor, but the next door neighbor. Okay? Right there. We don't go further than right there. Alright? Now if this number is less than 5, you're going to drop everybody and just leave the digit to the left. If it is 5 or above, you're going to round up this digit. Okay? So now, same thing goes with subtraction. If we were to subtract these two, what's the answer that we get there?
Same thing.
No.
Not the same thing.
It's gonna be negative.
Negative.
Yeah.
See? That right there? You got the whole answer wrong. So negative
0.175.
175. How many spaces behind the decimal point do we need?
1.
1. So where do we cut off?
After 1.
Cut off here.
Negative 0.2.
So now we're going to look at the neighbor. The neighbor is above 5. So we round up. So therefore we get negative 0.2. That's what I got you. You get that? We're going to act like we don't see this part right here. Okay? Just ignore that part for now. Focus up here. Right? So, multiplication and division. When you do multiplication and division, it's slightly different from your addition and subtraction. We're now going to be looking at the whole number. You're going to look at how many significant figures are in your whole number, and the least amount of significant figures, that's what your answer is going to have. Alright? So here, how many significant figures do we have here?
3. Isn't it after the decimal? 3?
Listen to what I said. In the whole number.
Oh, 4.
4. Over here.
2.
2. So therefore your answer needs to have 2 significant
Okay, so for
figures.
multiplication, you look at the whole thing.
Multiplication and division.
Okay, and then addition and subtraction just after the decimal.
Yes.
Okay.
Alright? So now, when we multiply these two numbers, we get 19.4625. Where do we cut off?
19.
At 19, because we only need two significant figures. So when you cut off at 19, you look at the neighbor. The neighbor is below 5, so you drop everybody and you just keep 19.
Okay.
Now if you're dividing it, you end up with 0.961. Where are we stopping?
96.
For 96. Okay? So we end up, we look at the neighbor.
Wait,
Neighbor is, yes.
Hold up.
Hold up.
So now we do it after the decimal because I thought it was 2. So it wouldn't be 0.9.
Okay. That goes back to my zeros, right?
Oh, okay.
Well,
Zero.
in a zero,
It's a leading.
it's a leading zero. What leading zeros are?
Never.
Never significant. So therefore, this one doesn't count. We go to our first non-zero number and we have 1, 2.
Okay.
Do we get that?
Yeah.
Professor, what do you have, let's say for 19.465, right? 46. Instead of 4, if there was something bigger than 5, would you round up to the 20s or
So if this was,
more than 5?
if
Let's
this was
say-
6,
Yeah,
if this was 6, you cut off here, right?
yeah.
And make it 20.
Yeah, would you round up to the 20?
But you would have to.
That's because there's a decimal.
Well, Why would that matter? So if you have 19.615 and you know that you need two significant figures, where do you draw your line?
Up 19.
At 19.
Okay.
You're going to look at your neighbor. Your neighbor is above 5, so therefore you round up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So even though like 20, the number
20.
20. 'cause that
Thank
was-
you. 10T with a T. There's no N in 20. Thank you.
There is an N in 20.
Yeah, but not past Y.
Oh, that's what I said. I'm sorry.
Uh-huh.
20 has one significant figure.
20.
I said 20.
No.
I did. 20
20 with a TY, not an NY.
has one significant figure in it.
How so?
2, 0.
Okay, that's 2 0 right here.
No
How you
decimal
figure that's
point.
only one significant figure?
There's
How
no
you
decimal point.
justify that?
There's no decimal point.
Okay,
And it's a trailing 0.
there you go.
But we need two significant figures. So we gotta put it inside the
Where?
conversation. For that number.
For the first number, he's saying. If we rounded 19 to 20.
But you can't go past that though.
So
you
if it's
understand what I'm
another,
saying?
it's just another cycle.
So you go.
Oh.
So if you have, if this is your answer here, right? This is the answer that you got, and you know that you need to round this. You round this up to 20. Don't sit there again. Okay, wait a minute. Pause. I gotta do something else with this. No, you just did what you needed to do, right? So we don't want to continue to manipulate your answer after you got your answer.
And you want to just put it inside to be notation.
We ain't get there yet. Okay? See how he be just froggy jumping?
So if there was a decimal point, but it's Wednesday, would it be two significant figures?
If this would be, if this decimal point here, you would have to have that there. So how many significant figures is that?
1, 2,
3.
3.
Because it's including us.
Because this is trailing 0 with a decimal point.
What if it's going to be just 20? It's going to be 1, right? What's worse?
Okay, all right. So, if I were to give you 19, 20, 20.1. How many significant figures here?
2,
Here,
2.
here.
3.
Who just said 2?
I ain't say nothing.
Who said it? I heard it. How many significant figures here, Ben? Ronnie?
1.5.
1.5. three significant figures. Now, if I were to tell you that this here came from alright? In this problem, you want two significant figures. Here you want two significant figures. Here you want three significant figures. Alright? Where's the cutoff here? At 18. After the 8. What's your neighbor? 6. What happens here? You move up to 19. You have just found your answer. Do you now continue to move?
No.
Over here, I want two significant figures. Where's my cutoff? After the first 9. You look at your neighbor. You move it up. You therefore have 20. This is your answer. Here, where's the cutoff? Here, you look at your neighbor. You move up. Alright? These are your answers after you have rounded. Once you have rounded, you do not mess with this any further. Okay? So, I can ask you to do things after this. I can specifically, you can stop here, or if I ask you for something different, you would then try to manipulate this. But I'm not asking for that. Right? Okay, rounding, what we talked about. So if you have 5 or above, you round up. Anything below 5, you drop it. So here, we're going to have some questions. How many significant figures are in the following values?
4.
A goes to Imam.
4.
4. Are we in agreement?
Yes.
Go ahead, tell me.
3.
You see 3? Where you get 3 from?
Because last 0 is not a
Building 0.
trading 0.
It's a trading 0,
So
right?
why not consider it?
So, what's the rule for trading zeros?
Because I'm confused.
It's
Sometimes.
It's sometimes significant. When is it significant?
After decimal?
Not after a decimal, but if you have a decimal point in your number, your trading zeros are significant. Do you have a decimal over there?
Yeah.
So how many significant figures do we have?
4.
4. Good. This one goes to Noreen. 4. Are we in agreement?
Yes.
Yes.
5.
5.
And 5 numbers, boo.
Oh, wait.
I was reading the next one.
Oh. Okay. So are we in agreement? 4 significant figures here.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Sabrina.
5.
5. Are we in agreement?
Yeah.
Cyber. How many here?
5.
Good. Sephora. Habu. How many?
Probably 3.
What do you mean probably? So we have 3. Are we in agreement?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
So it's 3 because it's a trailing 0.
These are trading zeros with your decimal point. Ms. Shaka?
Yes.
Seven? You sure? Maybe six?
No, it's 7.
Seven? You sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay, what did we say? Are we in agreement?
Yeah.
I think so too.